Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Happy Monday to you. Nice red day here, good 3% correction for Bitcoin. Kind of saw it coming, but also that previous resistance turned support didn't really work so much as a support level here. That 64,400 didn't get that pivot here, so we'll need to kind of look at a few other key factors here and kind of see what's going on as far as sustainability in this range, which does seem likely. Again, 63,000 to 63.5, heavy amount of volume here in the last, weeks worth of trading. So that's a good positive sign. We can't rely on that solely. And we also got to recognize that now that we've lost the 50-day SMA on the 4-hour time frame, we're in a situation where we got to kind of respect this transition that could be occurring here where the price may be continuing lower. Okay, so again, just be open to that. Again, different scenarios for different trading days, but we're going to double check a few key factors here. So let's take a quick look at the back end data and kind of go from there. And just want to say thank you again to my community members, whoever's watching right now. If you're new, if you've been watching for a while, thank you again so much for that. And always hitting the like button, commenting below is really, really great too. Thank you again so much for just being amazing parts of my life. So let's take a look here. 64,400, that level didn't hold. We can see here that there was a chunky amount of liquidation in all those ranges. A lot of liquidation kind of occurring here. We got a lot of shorts here, of course, pretty much accumulated right there at about 66,600. That's just above the local high. And at this point, honestly, this is pretty much par for the course. We're seeing a lot of those late longs getting destroyed from either the weekend or late last week. Okay, we have a little bit more liquidation down as low as 62,000. I'm not super concerned with that, mainly because we're entering a support range. I think that's less likely to occur, but we got to recognize that, hey, 62, 62.5, right in that range here, we got a good maybe approximately 20 to 30 billion, depending on how you average that out. Okay, so that's a decent amount. So all that being said, what does that mean for us? Well, let's take a quick look at the charts here in just a minute. I want to quickly double check here. I don't see massive areas of liquidation here. The larger ones have already gotten swept there, right there at about that one. Yeah, okay, perfect. All right, good. All right, so anyways, what we want to look at here really quick is a couple of things. First of all, if you're not familiar with my channel, I like to post playout charts on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. That looks a little something like this. Oh, future reference too. Sorry, I should have opened with this. We do have a Fed meeting here today. So if you go to this link that I provide on our Twitter, Telegram, or Discord, there is a live link that you can go to for today's speech. This is essentially an economic outlook, or basically just an overview of what's going on. And these meetings have a tendency of shifting gears with the market and obviously Bitcoin as well. So be sure to pay attention to that. That happens at roughly 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 11 a.m. Pacific. Okay, so again, that's all available there for you, but that's going to lead to some volatility today. That could even be why the price is dropping right now, kind of pricing in before that happens. Once more, you never truly know, but that is absolutely a factor. We also have lost officially our descending trend line, and we could very well see that working as a bearish backtest where the price action comes up and rejects off of that trend line. That's a possibility as well. So I'm just kind of throwing out all case scenarios here. I'm not bullish nor am I bearish. It's just really the way that a good trader is supposed to look at things. You got to look at things abstractly and remove all emotion. And regardless of if you're in a long or a short position, you got to kind of just be willing to make the right assumptions here. And right now, I mean, based on volume, if we kind of zoom out, again, just kind of give you perspective here, 63,000 is one of those areas of support. In fact, if I zoom out fully here, you can kind of see on the more macro that we are looking at a lot of support in the 63,000 range. All right, we're right in that range. So I would say closing soundly below 62.5 would make the most sense for a bearish continuation of the downside. We would have lost that macro support and also broken free from our local range, which we had a nice bullish rectangle pattern that held for a full week before it broke to the upside. Okay, so that losing that range to me is a pretty sizable thing. So again, this guy right here is what we want to pay attention to. Okay, so again, 62.5 I would say is an invalidation, an area of invalidation. Between now and then, what's going to happen? Well, let's look at some macro here first and double check, because while the monthly hasn't closed yet, we're right there on the last day of the month. So just kind of give you perspective here. It's been a pretty green month, so this is very much a positive sign. If we do take a look here at larger time frames, we can recognize majority of the fair value gap has been filled with last month's previous candle wick down to about 50K, right? So that's good. Majority of fair value has been swept minus this low 28 to 35 range, and I really don't ever see that happening. Having said that though, we're above all moving averages here as far as the local moving averages are concerned, the 50 and the 20, that's a good sign. We're still over 50 on the RSI here. Stochastic is starting to swing up. but hasn't fully yet. Money flow index is looking decent. And overall, the macro looks pretty well here. This is nothing crazy, nothing substantial. Obviously, we're losing momentum to the upside, but the monthly kind of gives you some false positives considering how big of a delay it is. So I don't really trust the MACD on the monthly. I would say the weekly is a little bit more telling. And this does tell us that we are on the verge of potentially converging and shifting momentum back to the upside, okay? Once again, still too premature to recognize that, but on the weekly, we can see we've maintained above 50 on the RSI for the last, 2 or 3 weeks. That's a good sign. Stochastic still swinging upwards. RSI above 50 as per usual, and of course, money flow index is above that as well. Those are all very, very positive signs. And our trend strength index is telling us we're over zero here. The zero line is important, kind of letting us know we've shifted momentum. That's very similar to a convergence on the MACD there. So the weekly, to me personally, looks very, very strong. Actually, I forgot to look at the moving averages on the weekly. Apologize. Take a look here at the SMAs. We're still maintaining above the 50 and the 20-day SMA, okay? So again, losing, look at that right there, the 50-day SMA, right there at 62,500, that 63K range, okay? So a lot of things hinge on 63K holding, in my personal opinion. So if we can hold that 63K range, I think we'll be in good shape. Let's go ahead and move on and kind of talk a little bit about where we're at here. So daily time frame, recognize we're over 50 on the RSI still, so even though that we're diverging, we haven't broken bearish. Please understand that. While we have lost tentatively the support range as far as the ascending trend is concerned, we're still above all moving averages, right? So we look here, the 20-day SMA, right there at 62,500 or 62.3. It's going to be at 62.5. It'll average itself out there here soon, okay? So again, we got a lot of support and a lot of confluence at this 63K range. So until we lose that, I don't think we should really get super convinced that the price action is going to continue lower. I would say that we're probably going to expect altcoins to continue to bleed out a little bit. It's very natural. Altcoin dominance is coming down though, Bitcoin dominance is coming down, and most altcoins are falling. So generally speaking, that does imply that we could see a bit more of a continuation of the downside for altcoins. And we do take a look at MACD, it's diverging as well here. Hasn't fully diverged, just losing momentum, okay? Again, it can lose momentum, but if we maintain this range, it'll swing back up and it'll be all good, and we should be able to continue higher, hypothetically, of course, at this point. Everything's strictly hypothetical, right? And at this juncture, though, on the daily time frame, even though, yes, we're tentatively losing this trend line, I'm not super convinced we've broken bearish. So again, I'm sure some people are going to tell you there's blood diamonds and all sorts of stupid crap. And I say that's stupid because it happens very consistent with people that are looking at like 20 different time frames, right? You're going to find something if you look for it. So the truth is, obviously, we want to look for reasons not to take a trade. And if you find an occasional whatever, confirming factor, there's got to be a lot of other things that factor into. So having said that, we're under the 20-day and the 50-day SMA. That is somewhat of a bearish sign. There's no other way around it. The 4-hour time frame is transitioning to a divergence. However, we look at our trend strength. It's kind of bottoming out. Oftentimes, it will usually shift gears here soon, which I'm speculating the 62.5 to 63K range will hold as a support. We can see MACD is, of course, diverging to stochastic as well. The second time here carries a little bit more strength there. And this is the key takeaway here, and this is actually a very good sign. We got our RSI getting closer to 30 and our money flow index closer to 20. It's super, super common to see the price action pivot or bounce off of those ranges. And again, a lot of reasons why is because this is construed as an oversold situation and people want to buy into it because they've been used to the price action in this range. Same thing with the money flow index too, that coming all the way down. There's only so much money that can come away from Bitcoin, right? And it has to come back in. So I think we're going to see a bit of a bottom out here fairly soon. I really speculate between 62.5 and 63.2 as a rough estimate for a good consideration for A, either a long position, or just B, to consider waiting for a better entry. So again, there's no guarantee those are going to hold, but generally speaking, at this point, with the the overall sentiment and the way things are going, we're really not in that bad a shape. However, I think this level should hold. If we do take a look at liquidation, we could see a candle wick down as low as 62K. That's a possibility. So I would, if I was considering a long right now, I'd consider a long at just say roughly 63, just a little bit above, and then maybe a secondary entry right around 62, just in case the whales get a little aggressive, shoot that candle wick down, and the price recovers. So it'll probably look a little something like this here. If you can see that. Now, again, it's not just going to shoot right back up to 70K after that. Keep that in mind. But we're going to likely be able to see a bottoming out here soon. Just with all this accumulation in this local range, it would make a ton of sense that we sustain this price point. Quickly look at the Ichimoku Cloud just to confirm, by the way, there's no doubt about it. This is absolutely a bearish situation on the hourly. So it does show if you have a short position open with Bitcoin, you want to consider holding it open for another 12 to 24 hours. Again, mainly because there's good momentum and there's likely of further downside. So do not get it twisted. Even though I'm mostly leaning towards the price bottoming out here soon, I would not expect the price just to instantly recover. The only caveat here is, of course, if we do see some really crazy stuff here with this Fed meeting here, these guys can really adjust the market. So just heads up on that. You've been warned. Other than that, last little bit of advice here. I talked about this with my community. There's a quick summary of how to manage your trades, because some folks were asking about like, hey, like I've got like a really heavy liquidation position, what's going on? The best recommendation, and this works really well for our community, is never to use more than 5% of your portfolio per trade. That saves me all the time. No more than 5x leverage in alts, no more than 10x leverage in Bitcoin, okay? And then of course, adjust your stop loss to break even when it moves into profit. You have no idea how many times this has saved my butt. And even though I may walk away with zero, very low fees, or sorry, all I pay is fees and I don't make much profit, it really keeps me in the game. All right. So again, just some friendly advice. Those are things to kind of consider and think about. Just some good housekeeping stuff, things I like to talk to my community about. Okay. Anyways, if you want to become part of our community, cryptocash.tech is a site link down below. Also, quick heads up, BitUnix is going to be running a promotion next month for deposit bonus. Links down below for that as well. And I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Thanks again so much for your time. We'll see you next one. Take care.